All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless me here, talking real music in real time for real people just like you and just like me. As always, want to thank the viewers, the subscribers, the patrons, everybody involved here. I do appreciate all of you folks, and as we continue to grow the channel, thank you for being here. After what happened with the Eddie Van Halen Grammy Awards lack of tribute. It was a tribute. The Grammys have stepped forward and said, hey, it was the best we could do under the circumstances, which was, see, that was weak. Okay, I was going to finish that sentence. But here's the problem. Rock music today is not a thing. All right, it's not a thing. No matter how much we want it to be a thing, it's not a thing. But in order for it to climb out of the basement again and be a thing, these institutions have to respect it and they have to do their part. But it comes down to this. What's making the money? Rock isn't making money. And, views and clicks, and you've got TikTok and all these goofy little snippets and things that I see that are raking in the dough because nobody has any attention span. I mean, you couldn't get on stage and play all of Hotel California, probably. The song is too long. People would lose their attention span before the first amazing guitar solo starts. It would just be like, oh, this song is just going on forever, And I know there are longer songs, pop songs and so forth that are out there, not like just the 3-minute, 4-minute formula. But for the most part, if it doesn't sound like that, it's going to be hard to keep anyone's attention. This has been why radio has done all the focus testing that they've done, because people don't have the attention span they used to. All of the social media, all of the AI, all of this flash and dash editing and things, that's why I don't do any of it. I'm not patient enough to do it, number one. Number two, it's just slick production. And I've always just said, you know what, I'm just going to roll the camera and talk. But the Grammys, the mistake they made by not paying tribute to one of the greatest guitar players of all time in a way that was respectful, even though I've heard a couple of news outlets, and they're mainstream news outlets, and they're going to defend the establishment and the status quo, and they're going to say things like, it was adequate, it was fine. The only one who could pay tribute to Eddie is Eddie. That's not how it works. When people pass, other people pay tribute to them. They're not here to pay tribute to themselves. It's a cop-out to say, well, we couldn't find anybody. Nobody was worthy, so we just put Eddie up there. That's lame. It's lame. It's a lack of creativity, and it's an easy cop-out. So again, all that to basically, again, sell my idea of a true Van Halen reboot. Now, I know Wolfie says no. I guarantee you everybody else involved, and I'm not sure where Alex is. Nobody knows how Alex feels about all this. Maybe in a year or two, he'll start to have some feelings and emotions again about any of this. Maybe it'll be cathartic to get out there and do something again. Maybe he's done. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, the Van Halen brand kept a very isolated schedule, we'll say that, or isolated presence on the scene. And when it happened, it just blew up because it didn't happen all that often. It's much like what Steve Perry does. He goes away, and when he comes back, people are like, whoa, absence makes the heart grow fonder, right? But with a Van Halen tribute, you'd get the entire tour dedicated to Eddie. And that's the way you should do it. Number two, you could get great archival footage that you play during the show behind the band, which is the norm these days when you go see concerts. Eds could be well produced and put together in a way that would be like no other tribute in the history of music. People would show up in droves. Now, if you want to raise money for Mr. Holland's Opus or cancer research, and I've said this in other videos, this is how you do it. This is how you get people on board. People will spend the money to see this tribute. And obviously, it's the Dave show, it's the Sammy show, it's the Alex show. If Wolfie wanted to be involved, it could be the Wolfie show. Michael Anthony obviously comes back. I think that would help Michael Anthony a little bit too, because there was no closure at the end for him. There was no reconciliation between himself and Ed. And I think it would do a lot for the Van Halen legacy if Michael was invited back to participate in something like that. And yeah, then you've got to hire some heavy hitters on guitar, maybe 2 guitar players. I don't know what you do, but they need to be marquee names, and they need to be people who loved Ed and understand his work and can at least try to pull off some of it. That's what you need. And I think it would go over really well. And that would be a way to pay tribute outside of the music industry, which right now is just a joke. For people who enjoy rock and who enjoy real music that's not done on Pro Tools or not on a computer, people who enjoy that kind of stuff, there's like nothing. There's very little. I mean, you got to go back to your favorite classic rock station, which is pounding the same songs you heard 30 years ago, 40 years ago into the ground. Imagine living like in the 1980s, just to go off on a tangent here, and you were listening to music from the 1940s on your radio. That's what's happening now. That's how bad the music is, because you could go back 20 years. You know, classic rock station could go back 20 or 30 years. There are these new formats that are popping up called "It's the New Breed of Classic Rock," and they're playing like, you know, Pearl Jam is the classic rock, or anything that came out in the 90s. And there's far less of it. There's not enough of it to create a format out of it. And don't call it classic rock. Please don't, but they're doing it because, again, their definition of classic is it's old. It's 20 years old. It's 30 years old. Therefore, it's classic rock. Nope. Sorry. My definition is, does it sound like classic rock? Does it have a blues-based sound somewhere? Does it have soul? Can you hear the lyrics? Is it dark or is it light? Now, not all classic rock has to be light, but most of the music that came after the core of that era, it's all dark, or most of it's dark. See, this is why you need the Van Halen tribute. You will get these fans to come out of the woodwork and just do it for one tour. Then retire the brand. Ed gets the respect he deserves. Charities get the money that they deserve to solve these problems, or at least attempt to. The music, you know, Mr. Holland's Opus, great idea. Because who's going to learn instruments? Who's going to learn how to play instruments when everybody's got a laptop, an iPad, whatever, and they're just click, 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 and they're creating music, and then record labels are signing people to multi-million-dollar contracts so they can put this crap out. And this is all the Utes of the world know. Utes, I'm borrowing from Joe Pesci there. That's all they know. And so the more you know about the classic stuff, the more you'll probably be interested in it because it has soul and it's different. At least give them the opportunity. At least give the marketplace, like a choice, rather than just flooding one sound on everybody and then just going, yeah, that's music. It doesn't have to be. But anyway, I think the Van Halen tribute would be a great idea. And if you want to call it Van Halen, I would say do it just to bring the people out there. And you'd have to have Wolfgang and Alex, or at least their blessings. And then you really need Alex in the group, because if he doesn't decide he wants to do it, then it's probably never going to happen. Anyway, that's my opinion. And that goes around the Grammys and all the other stupid, useless award show institutions that are of no interest to people probably over 50. And I would say maybe even younger, because a lot of it just doesn't make sense. You watch it and you go, what was that?